Felt like the big news of the day yesterday coming out of the first practice was Malik Nabers and how good he looked coming off of that injury, especially coming off of maybe the videos that we saw from the softball game this summer where people were judging him very, very harshly. But great news yesterday with Malik Nabers on how well he looked, and what was the takeaway there?
Yeah, no doubt. I think, it's kind of like the Undertaker meme. Everybody had him in the casket. Now all of a sudden Malik Nabers gets up out of it and he's running routes. Wait a minute. He's actually cutting in the first day of camp. I think it was a good sign they didn't put him on the physically unable to perform list just because they want to see him with the team. He goes on the PUP list. He can't do anything with the team. So he's going to be in individual drills. He's going to work with the offense on air, no defense. But yeah, Malik Nabers, everybody on this offense, it's Malik Nabers and everybody else. Even the energy of Scat, there's nobody to that level, a talent level playmaker like they have with Malik Nabers. And I think this entire team gets a lift seeing the way he was moving yesterday. And it certainly wasn't running out or not running out a ground ball in Brian Burns' charity softball game back in May.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a limp out, but if he was out on that field, what I felt, and I think AJ talked about this as well, the amount of doctors and money that is around him. So a lot of people are like, he looks bad, why is he out there? It's like, how many people had to approve for him to go out there? And his teammates are there. So his teammates don't want him to be hurt either. So it was like, I think the reaction to the limp was certainly a little bit overblown about this guy's going to hurt himself in a charity softball game because the amount of money that's going to be invested in this guy by the New York Giants organization. Let's assume they're keeping an eye out for it. But I am very happy that he's back being healthy after how terrible he looked in that softball game.
Yeah.
Because if that was the new generation where, we just roll out to a softball game, look like shit, and then we actually do show up looking like shit, it's like that can't be the case. He's worked his ass off to get back healthy. If we saw where he's at that softball game versus where he's at right now, the amount of work and pain that's gone into that. Now, and also, what was it? Stiffness, right, Art? That was the original problem, was he had stiffness after the first surgery with scar tissue?
Yeah, the scar tissue, Pat, you know better than I do. AJ knows better than I do. When you get into that rehab situation, they use those bars to get the scar tissue out. And man, it is painful. It is grueling. It can become a dark place when you don't feel like you're getting out and being able to see that next step. So he had that scar tissue removed again. They felt better. And I'd really think, and talking to people even yesterday here, upper management and everything else, it was psychological for Malik. He was in a rehab. You got to remember, he got hurt in the first quarter of Jackson Dart's first start last year, and then he was away from the team because he's rehabbing the entire time, surgery and everything else. That was a mental hurdle at that softball game. Everybody saw it as a physical situation. It was mental. He was with his teams, who's hitting home runs. They're jumping around, celebrating. They need that. Like, Malik needs that competition. He needed that adrenaline boost. And I think he came back the next week and looked at it and said, you know what? I can do this. Like, I got to get to that next step. I got to get back with my guys. And I think that's why it was such a huge boost.
So it wasn't just one run to first base?
No.
Or one limp to first base?
No.
That was a breakthrough.
A lot going on.
That was an enlightenment trip down that first base line. And I'll say this, if it was stiffness, we got heels going to butt on those routes and also knee drive happening, AJ, and also a couple of stall outs, which is the worst thing for your knee in the middle of those routes. So I feel like he feels very good. And if the way the Giants fans talk about Malik Nabers is real, okay, because Schrager came on our show, last year and was like, Terry McLaurin, pretty good. Malik Nabers, okay, is the guy. And the way you just talked about it, it's like nobody on this field is anywhere near as athletic as Malik Nabers. It's like, I'm excited to watch this guy blow up. Yep. I am, especially with him having to battle through some injuries. Excited for him to get going. Okay, last question here, Art. You mentioned his name a little bit, but it's not just him. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Art, what are the expectations for Cam Scatabo this year? Obviously, everyone saw him at the Fanatics Goofball Fest do the backflip and not exactly land it. And, maybe some people were saying, hey, what's going on here? He's not completely healthy. Why is he doing that? But how do they kind of see this year going, especially with the addition of Patrick Ricard coming over? Like, what are the expectations for that backfield as a whole?
John Harbaugh, Greg Roman is here. He's not a coordinator, but he is a senior assistant. They want to run the football first. They think Jackson Dart could be most effective in that kind of power running game. And Scatabo, all the talk about Malik yesterday, Scatabo had a full practice yesterday. The idea of this gruesome ankle and lower leg injury from the Philly game last year is really gone. He looks 100%. He's the number one back on this team. Now, will they do some things on the back end? Maybe bring in a veteran later on in camp? Maybe because Harbaugh wants to make sure that he has enough pieces in that backfield. But Scadaboo is definitely the guy. I mean, we're talking to Joe Shane, general manager, before practice yesterday at a nice press conference, state of the Giants, all this stuff. And all of a sudden you hear a guy screaming the Ric Flair woo.
Hold on, Art, here you go.
Practice office.
Played at a high level season, so.
There you go, Art. We got you, buddy. Yeah.
Perfect. It's like we plan this kind of stuff, but you guys are pros. I think Scadaboo is definitely a big part of this team, both emotionally, and we'll see how good he can be. He was great for that 4-game stretch until he got hurt in Philly, and that will obviously be the situation. Can he stay healthy?